영어 원서 읽기 500번 읽기 도전. 책 보지 않고 듣고 따라하기 14번째 이어서 하는 중입니다. 자, 오늘도 한번 해보도록 하겠습니다. Chapter 4. A cat prepares. I almost didn't make my meeting with Chester that night. Toby had a feast in his room. It was a Friday night, and on the Friday night, Toby gets to stay up with Reed as he wants to. So of course he needs lots of food to keep up strength. Good food like cheese crackers, chocolate cupcakes, and my favorite, the kind with the cream in the middle. Pretzels and peanut butter sandwiches. The last I cannot abide because my mouth always gets stuck. Chocolate cupcakes with cream in the center, however, are another story. This particular evening, I stationed my Toby's stomach. I'm more of supper. Mr. and baked breakfast. I was not about taking any chance on the chocolate cupcakes with cream in the center. Toby knew what I after, but sometimes he thinks he's funny and he's played a little game with me. Hi, Harold. I bet you like a peanut butter sandwich, wouldn't you? Here, you have the leftover yesterday while I eat this boring old chocolate cupcake, which is nice and fresh and is cream in the middle. Okay, Harold? Ha ha, my side are spreading. What's the matter? Don't you want a peanut butter sandwich? All right, I put it away for another night. Oh, here's just something I like. It's a green sourdough from Daddy's candy dish from stuck to my sock. Was it that like the part? The kid is really hot tonight. No, huh? Well, I'll give you one of my cupcakes, but I know how much you hate chocolate. Would a little drooling on your stomach have convinced you otherwise? Oh, you like chocolate? Okay, then you can have both of them. One thing I have to say about Toby, although he's got a lofty sense of humor, he's a nice kid. Naturally, once I'd eaten both cupcakes, which approximately 4 seconds, I thought the pride hanging around Toby is great, but what better way in the ceremony to appear his crackles? Well, Harold, Toby said sometimes a bit later, we had a kite party, but I have to go to sleep now. I can't keep my eyes open, so I have to wait until tomorrow. What happened to next chapter? This is a good book, Harold. It's called The Treasure Island, and this is by a man named Robert Louis Stevenson. This is kind of a hard reading, though. I have to keep looking the big word up on the dictionary, for taking me a long time to read. I've always trouble with words myself. Half the time don't need what I'm going to. And even when I do find what they mean, I forget the next day anyway. You might say that I'm smart, but just not a scholarly type. But it's a really good story, Toby continued. It's all about the pirate and this little boy just like me. No dogs. And the parrot held. A parrot. What's a parrot? Is there anything about the chocolate cakes? That's my idea of a treasure. Well, good night, Harold. If you're gonna sleep here, you have to get up to my stomach is a little full right now. Good night, Toby. I crawled up the foot of the bed, but I couldn't sleep trying to figure out what a parrot was. I thought it might be a lady pirate, since the word sounded something like, but then again, I thought it might be an umbrella. Chester would know, I thought, so I went downstairs to ask him. Well, you certainly took your time, Chester snapped as I sauntered casually into the room. I finished my book half an hour ago. Where were you? It just so happened. So I discussing the great work with the literature with Toby. Since when Twinkies rappers consider the literature, I decided to ignore that. Unfortunately, several chocolate crumbs fell from my mouth to the floor precisely for a moment. As a matter of fact, I said, trying valiantly to gain my dignity, we were talking about the Treasure Island. Ever hear of it? Ever hear of it? He sneered. I read that when I was kitten. Oh, and tell me, Chester, what is a parrot? Chester looked at me scornfully. A parrot, he said, is a tropical zygotic bird, order Citis prons. There's a stout curved hooked bill. It's open-crested, brightly variegated, and excellent mimic. In other words, Harold, a parrot is a little bird with a big mouth. Oh, I said after a moment. I thought maybe an umbrella. Did you get so busy discussing parrot was it forgot me here? This is important, Harold. I still wasn't sure what a parrot was. This is not the time for pursuit. Come over here, Chatter commanded, indicating his chair, and let me show you this book. I looked at the chair. Chatter was already sitting on it. It was a very large book open in front of him. I don't think this is going to be room for both of us. Come on, you are wasting time. Just jump up here. I surveyed the scene carefully. I knew I was getting to start. Just tiny spot wrapped for me, but I never permit individual pull of myself pretty slowly. Apparently, I was taking too long to Chester's liking. Will you get up here? He hissed. Okay, that's what you want. I ran and jumped onto the chair, landing with a great plop. Chester, where are you? I cried. I couldn't see anything with the back of the chair. I'd forgotten to turn myself around. I'm here, you great oaf. I turned my head. What are you doing on the floor? I asked. You knocked me off the chair. You just stay put. I'm coming back up. I moved to the back of the chair, and Chester landed on the front. Now let's see, he said. We both have to see the book. You come over here. I moved it this way. I don't know if it had watched the cat try to slide away where he sit, but it involved a lot of circling around, sitting, getting up again, circling some more, thinking about it, lying down, standing up, bathing a paw or tail, and suckling. A dog, on the other hand, sit. This looks like a good spot, a dog would say himself. He will then lower his body to the spot in his question, usually so secure in his decision, and he falls asleep immediately. Chet took what felt like 20 minutes for settling himself in, and just as I was drifting up, and kicks started. Come on, Harold, quick hugging the seat and wake up. What we're trying to do will take a little cat nap? Ha ha ha. I yawned. Now, said Chester, turning to the book. Let's get down to the brass tacks. What exactly on your mind? I asked. This book and that rabbit, Chester replied. Now tell me, Harold, have you noticed anything funny about that rabbit? No, I said, but I certainly noticed a lot of funny things about you recently. Think about it. Red rabbits steal all day. So do I. So do you. Furthermore, he's got funny little sharp teeth. So do I. So do you. Furthermore, he gets in and out of his cage by himself. What kind of rabbit can do that? A smart one, I said. I could do it. We are not talking about you, Harold. We are talking about the rabbit. Where did they find him? At the movies. Yes, and what movies? Dracula, I said. So, he said quickly. Remember the note around his neck? What language was it in? An obscure director of a Carpathian mountain region, I have smugly. He didn't know everything. Aha, Chester said. But what area, the Carpathian mountain region? Area? What's an area? I looked at him blankly. Transylvania, he cried triumphantly, and that proves my point. What point of what are we talking about? And don't forget the white tomato, that's most important of all. And what this book, said Chester, disregarding me, tells us just what we needed to know. What? I practically screamed. What does it tell us? What does this book have to do with it? But Nicola, what are you talking about? What's going on here? I can't stand it anymore. Chester regarded me coolly. You're really very excitable, Harold. That's not good for your blood pressure. I put my paws around his throat. Tell me, I said in a low, threatening voice, and I squeezed you till you pop. Okay, don't get upset. Now this book is tells you All you want to know about the vampires or were afraid to ask. Personally, I had never wanted to know anything about the vampires. At the moment, I was afraid to tell the chatter. I still don't understand what vampire had to be with our furry friend. One, Chatter said. Vampires do not sleep at night. They sleep only during the day. And same holds true as the rabbit. Two, vampires can get in and out of the room, locked room, but Nicola gets in and out of his cage. This was beginning to interest me. Didn't you say something about the refrigerator? That's right. He got the refrigerator open all by himself. Three, vampires have long pointed teeth. They called fangs. Well, do we have fangs? We have canines. That's different. What's different about it? Fangs are more pointed, and vampires use fangs to bite the people on the neck. Yuck! Who'd want to do that? Vampires want to do that, so. Wait a minute. I saw Mrs. Monroe bite Mr. Monroe on the neck once. Does that mean she's a vampire? Boy, are you dumb. She's not a vampire, she's a lawyer. She bites necks. I don't think that's quite the same thing. No, Nicola does not know people on the neck, at least not so far. But he does bite vegetables. On the neck? I asked. Vegetables don't have necks, Harold. Vegetables are like that. It's like a dog. Dogs don't have brain. Dogs are like that. Oh yeah? I said. Of course he bites the vegetables. All of the bite vegetables. He bites them, Harold, but it does not eat them. Eat that tomato. It's all white. What does that mean? It means the paint vegetables? It means he bites vegetables to make a hole in them, and then he sucks out of all of the juices. But what about the lettuce and carrots and Toby has pitting in his cage? Aha, what indeed, Chatter said. Look at this. Whereupon he stuck his paw under the chair cushion and brought out with a flourish a sort of a strange white object. Some of them looked like an unironed handkerchief, and the others didn't look like anything I ever seen before. What are they? I asked. Chatter smiled. Lettuce and carrot, he said. White lettuce and carrot. I found him hidden behind his cage. I was aghast. What did it all mean? Could Chatter be right? Was this a harmless-looking little ball of plump really a vampire? Just then, Chatter let out a yell. Look, he said, the cage is empty again. Oh, we get out of our side. Your fault, my fault. You have to take 20 minutes to sit down and will have to knock me off the first place. Wait a minute, why we are arguing? Let's find the Bonicula. Just then, we heard a click in the kitchen. Refrigerator, I whispered. Chatter nodded. We jumped out and moved cautiously to the kitchen door. Shh, Chatter warned unnecessarily as we kept around. Don't make any noise. We don't want him to hear us coming. Obviously, I retorted. The light went out under the door. He must have closed the refrigerator, Chatter said. Easy now. We pushed the door open. The kitchen was dark. There was another sound. Psst, Chatter. What? I can't see. I can, but I can't see him. She's not here. There was a saucer scamper across the linoleum and returned to just in time. A little white tail bounced out the door into the living room. Drat it, we missed him. Come on, Harold. Let's just see if we catch him with him. Chatter said to door to door. Wait, Chatter. What's that on the floor by the refrigerator? He turned. This new object interested in more than following the Bonicula. Watch out, he said. I will take care of this. He slunk across the room slowly. Muscles taut, eyes alert. What is about 6 inches away, he stuck out of his paws, closed his eyes, and battered his object tentatively. I don't think he made any contact. Get closer, I said. Chester's eyes popped open. Who's the cat here? He asked. I know what I'm doing. And he proceeded to back the air 3 more times. What is it? I squealed as my throat contracted with fear. I don't know yet, but whatever it is, it's not alive. But boys, I will pull you with all night. I walked bravely to the object and sniffed it. Well, asked Chester. Beats me. Chester came closer. After a moment of closer examination, he gasped. I jumped. I can feel my heart pounding in my chest. Harold, Chester blurted. What? It's... Yes? Yes. What is it, Chester? It's a white zucchini. Chapter 5. Chester goes into his act. The next morning, I was awakened by a scream. Robert, come down here right away. There's something wrong in the kitchen. For a moment, a panic seized me. I thought you ran out of the dog food. But then I remembered the events of the previous evening. Mr. Murnau came bounding down the stairs. Chester, I cried. Do you see Mr. Murnau? His face has turned white. It's funicular, isn't it? No, he said calmly. It's just shaving cream, you idiot. By now, excitement in the kitchen without full throttle. The table was covered with funicular handiwork. There were white beans and white peas and white squash and white tomatoes and white lettuce and white zucchini. What can it mean, Robert? Mrs. Murnau was saying. I'm getting worried. One tomato was a curiosity, but this is unheard of. Let's must have something wrong with our refrigerator. That's it. It's turning all the better to white. But look, he said. I left this tomato on the windowsill and dyed their white too, and squash I left in the bowl on the table. At that moment, Pete and Toby came into the kitchen. Holy cow, what's going on? Hey, maybe it's a vegetable blight, Mom. Did you have anything about to hear that? Well, no. After that is, I've heard of a blight, but nothing like this. Chester leaned my way. This will take forever if we leave it to them. Sometimes human beings can be so slow. I started to answer him and put his hand to the table. What about that friend of yours, agriculture department? Oh, Tom Cragen? Could we call him and ask him what we're doing or something wrong? Is it DDT, Mom? Peter interjected. I know about this stuff because you buy it aren't organic. All vegetables are organic, Peter, Mrs. Murnau replied. That's all my teacher said. See, Toby, I told you what happened. They're using chemical on our food, and if not careful, you'll turn white too. Like that? Robert, couldn't you take that shaving cream off your face? Oh, yes, of course. Where is my towel? I know I brought it down with me. For that matter, where was Chester? I'd seen him going towards the table, but I lost track of him with all that DDT. I just hope that you use any stuff with the grew chocolate cupcakes. Peter, did you take my towel? Why would I take your towel, Dad? I won't shave. I don't shave. I could not believe my eyes. There was a Chester with Mr. Murnau's towel draped his closed back and tied under his neck like a cape. That was strange enough, and on his face was an expression of sense chills down on my spine. And either on the spine. The corner of the mouth pulled back evil grimace. His teeth were bared and gleaming in the morning light. It cackled menacingly and threw back his head as if he were laughing at all of us. I thought he completely lost his mind. There's my towel. Where is my... What's the matter, Chester? Were you cold? Mr. Murnau bent down to take the down for the Chester. Pickle lay hands on it. Chester flipped over on his back, closed his eyes, and pulled his paws over his chest. It was a hideous thought. He opened his eyes wide. With the paws outstretched, he slowly lifted his head. His eyes glazed and vacant. Soon, upper half of his body followed, all at once a smooth floor until he in his sitting position. Hey, Dad, did you leave your brandy glass out last night? Chester was acting really little weird. The sun cats are funny creatures. I glanced at Chester. He wasn't laughing. Psst, Chester, What are you up to? I'm a vampire, you daughter. Can't you tell? I'm trying to warn them. It's not working. You better think of something else. Chatter plowed, apparently deep in thought. So you see, Toby, Mr. Monroe explaining. All cats are individuals, all people. Maybe he just wanted to get our attention. Isn't that right, kitty cat? Ordinarily, Chatter whatever left would given the kitty cat. He was lost in thought. Come on, Chatter, give me back my towel. Mr. Monroe moved toward Chatter. Chatter's eyes lit up. He looked at me and smiled. I sensed that I was not going to write what he has in mind. I was talking inertially under the table when Chatter picked up his eyes. How deep they were, like a black pool. I felt myself floating, lost in them. My will no longer my own. I felt it in a look unspeakable to murmur, "Yes, master," when he walked slowly, steady toward me. As he drew nearer, I found myself unable to move. He stopped before me, never taking his gaze from me, and lunged. Yo! Lunged. Mom tried to beat Harold on his neck. That wasn't a real bite, was it, Chester? That was a love bite. Isn't that cute? Love bite my foot, and it hurt. Chester, what's the matter with you? I sputtered. Do I look like a tomato? Oh, it doesn't matter anyway, Harold. They don't understand. How can human beings read the same book I do and still be so thick? Our conversation dropped it. Mrs. Murnau picked Chatter on and covered him. I was afraid he was not inserted injuring, but kiss is he hates it more than anything. Poor Chatter, didn't you, little love? Do you know what I'm going to big bottle put you? Uh-oh, I can't tell you what's coming. I'm going to kiss you on your little nose. Yep, I could tell that was coming all right. Chester knew better than resist. He went to limp in Mrs. Murnau's arm. Mrs. Murnau took his towel off Chester. I still on the white when I my towel, he said. I think he must be cold, dear. Here's your towel. Why don't you get his kitty sweater? Chester looked ill, and you can wear that all day. As Chester was being buttoned with a bright red yellow sweater with a purple mice in the car on the cowboy hat, Mrs. Murnau said, "What about those vegetables? Shall I speak to Tom Cragen?" "Yes, dear," Mrs. Murnau said. "Why don't you? I'm sure there's some explanation. In the meantime, I will change markets. To tell you the truth, I'm really much more worried about Chester. We'd better keep our eye on him." Chester and I do not speak until late afternoon. I was busy nursing my neck, and Chester was busy hiding the supper. Too embarrassed, he seemed. When the speaker arrived, brief exchange. "Hey, Chester," I called and finally called out the Monroe. "We don't have to worry about any vampire bunnies anymore. All you have to do is just stand outside of the cage, that sweater. He'll laugh and still death." Chester was unamused. "That's right. Make fun. All of you. No one understand. I tried to warn them, and it wasn't hit. And I'm going to take matters into my own hand." Whereupon Chester and 60 purple mice went into the kitchen for dinner.